हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल द सोलफुल डायरी। आज के वीडियो में हम बात करेंगे W.B. यीट्स की पोम द सेकेंड कमिंग के बारे में। W.B. यीट्स के बारे में हम पहले एक वीडियो में डिस्कस कर चुके हैं, जिसकी लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में है। पोम को इन डेप्थ डिस्कस करने से पहले जान लेते हैं उसके कुछ की पॉइंट्स। The poem is divided into two stanzas of unequal lengths. The poem is written in blank verse and has no rhyming scheme. यह पोम एक रफ iambic pentameter स्टाइल में लिखा गया है। Iambic pentameter स्टाइल क्या है? A rhythmic pattern in poetry that uses a specific type of foot called iamb to create a line of verse with 10 syllables. The Second Coming was written when the world was disillusioned with the turn of the century. There had been new inventions like the motor car, small aircraft and others. The world had grown to fall apart. Different revolutions broke out in the world, like the Russian Revolution of 1917, the Eastern Uprising of 1916, and the First World War between 1914 to 1918. The poets, writers and artists felt that there was a great shift happening in the world and that it would soon come to an end. The Second Coming tries to put into words what countless people of the time felt, that it was the end of the world as they knew it, and that nothing else would ever be the same again. The First World War had shaken the foundation of knowledge for many and scared from the knowledge of the war to end all wars. They could no longer reconcile themselves with the time before the Great War. यह poem जो है एक literary version of how to think of a time before the war. जो टाइटल है वो क्रिश्चियन रिलीजन से लिया गया है। द फर्स्ट कमिंग जो है वो जीसस क्राइस्ट की बर्थ थी। अकॉर्डिंग टू न्यू टेस्टामेंट, क्राइस्ट second coming, to be preceded by a time of troubles and sorrow, will mark the end of this present age. The second coming is where Christ will reign on earth and in which there will be peace. Like Spengler, the poet believed that history moves in large circles of growth and decay. Yeats believed that these cycles last about 2000 years and that the present cycle, which began with the birth of Christ, is about to end. The second coming of Christ, traditionally considered as a major historical intersection as the end of this age and the beginning of next, is thus a useful image for him. Stanza 1. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed in everywhere. The ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. The image of a widening gyre, a spiral or vortex, symbolizes cycle of history and time. The falcon, which once flew in harmony with the falconer, now flies too far to hear command, symbolizing a loss of control and communication. इसका मतलब है कि जो सोसाइटी है वो अपने वैल्यूज़ एंड प्रिंसिपल्स से दूर जा रहा है। द फ्रेज थिंग्स फॉल अपार्ट कैप्चर्स द ब्रेकडाउन ऑफ सोशल, political and cultural structures. The center cannot hold implies that the core values and stability of society are failing. इसका मतलब है कि anarchy and chaos जो है वो पूरे वर्ल्ड में स्प्रेड हो रहा है, विच शोज अनसेटलिंग डिस्ट्रप्शन इन द वर्ल्ड। जो थर्ड लाइन की बिगिनिंग है, थिंग्स फॉल अपार्ट, इसका टाइटल एक नॉवल को दिया गया है, चिनुआ अचेबे की, इन 1957. द ब्लड डिम्ड tide suggests widespread violence and bloodshed. The drowning of the ceremony indicates the destruction of purity and virtue. इसका मतलब है कि जो वर्ल्ड जो है वो वायलेंस है में है एंड मोरालिटी लूज़ कर रहा है, जो शो करता है कि इनोसेंस और एथिकल स्टैंडर्ड्स जो है वो सोसाइटी में लूज़ हो रहे हैं. द बेस्ट रिफर्स टू दोज हु आर मॉरली गुड और वाइज, हु आर नाउ पैसिव एंड इनडेसिसिव. The worst are those with harmful intentions who are zealous and forceful. ये इंडिकेट करता है कि जो जिन्हें लीड करना चाहिए वो इनएक्टिव लाइफ लीड कर रहे हैं और जो क्योस लाते हैं वो बहुत मोटिवेटेड लाइफ लीड कर रहे हैं. Stanza 2. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely The second coming is at hand. The second coming. Hardly are those words out when a vast image out of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in sands of the desert, a shape with lion body and the head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun, is moving its slow thighs, while all about it, real shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again, but now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle, and what rough beast? Its hour come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born. The speaker anticipates a significant and transformative event. The second coming traditionally refers to the return of Christ in Christian eschatology. इसका मतलब है Yeats uses the concept to suggest an impending major change in the world, though potentially ominous rather than redemptive. The repetition of the second coming emphasizes its importance. Spiritus Mundi refers a collective unconscious of world spirit that holds all human experience. इसका मतलब है कि एक विजन आता है from a universal mind which hints at a significant symbolic revelation. The vision is troubling and set in a desert, a place of desolation. The creature described is reminiscent of a sphinx, combining human and animal traits. इसका मतलब है कि एक बहुत बड़ी फोर्स इमर्ज कर रही है वर्ल्ड में जो बहुत पावरफुल है. द क्रीचर्स गेज इज indifferent and merciless, like the unfeeling sun. Its slow movement suggests inevitability and deliberation. इसका मतलब है कि जो पावर आ रही है वो emotionless and unstoppable है, and it doesn't care about human concerns. Birds of prey like vulture react with anger, reinforcing the ominous atmosphere. The darkness drops again suggests the end of the vision or a return to the state of ignorance or forewarning. इसका मतलब है कि speaker has gained a troubling understanding or insight from the vision. 20 centuries of stony sleep refers to the 2000 years since Christ's birth, a period of relative stability or dormancy. The period is now disturbed into a nightmare by the movement of a cradle symbolizing the birth of symbolizing something new. इसका मतलब है कि जो लोग स्टैंडिंग ऑर्डर है वो डिस्टर्ब हो रहा है और एक न्यू एरा इमर्ज हो रहा है. The rough beast represents a new and threatening force or age that is now due to emerge. Slouches towards Bethlehem is an ironic twist on the nativity, suggesting that instead of a savior, a monstrous entity is coming. इसका मतलब है कि एक dark, ominous future emerge हो रहा है, which shows a disturbing change in the world. Poetic devices. Metaphor comparing two things that are not directly connected. Example, the falcon and the falconer, the blood-dim-eyed rough beast. Hyperbole is an exaggerated statement about something. For example, surely the second coming is at hand. Alliteration is the repetition of the same consonant sound. Example, turning and turning the widening gyre. Surely the second coming is at hand. Troubles my sight somewhere in sands of the desert. Symbolism, desert bird, second coming. Imagery, a shape with lion body and the head of a man. As an end, turning and turning in the widening gyre. Themes. Apocalypse. The poem's main theme is the end of the world or the end of the world as Yeats and others know it. The poem's tone is foreboding, chaotic and lonely, and it depicts a world on the brink of destruction. Loss of control. The poem describes humans losing control and becoming more violent and anarchic. Cyclical history. Yeats uses circles and cycles to express the idea that everything that happens will eventually happen again. Terror of the unknown. The speaker has a dim vision of the future and the unknown is terrifying. The nature of Christianity. The poem suggests that Christian morality is not the stable force people believe it to be. The perils of authoritarianism. Yeats' concerns about authoritarianism and the dangers of ideological radicalism are reflected in the poem. The passing of an era. The poem captures the existential fears of the contemporary era and the disillusionment and uncertainty of the post war period. Symbols imagery, the widening gyre, a scientific word used to refer to a vortex located for the air or sea, and it usually refers to systems of circulating ocean current. In the poem, gyre is used to represent the swirling or turning landscape of life itself. He used it to represent a system that makes a life the push and pull between freedom and control that spin together to create existence. फैल्कन फैल्कन जब सेपरेट हो जाती है फैल्कनर से तो loses meaning without reason, without ruler, without larger cause. So it is a symbol for lost humanity at the mercy of uncontrollable forces. फैल्कन जो है वो हम सब जो अर्थ के अराउंड घूम रहे हैं टू फाइंड मीनिंग. फैल्कनर जो है वो रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है गॉड या मोरालिटी को. द ब्लड टिम टाइड लूजनड अपॉन द वर्ल्ड रिप्रेजेंट्स कर रहा है कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, वायलेंस एंड क्योस को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है. स्फिनिक्स जो है वो सिम्बलाइज कर रहा है मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड को और जो कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है न्यू वर्ल्ड की उसे रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है. द रफ पीस ये रिप्रेजेंट करता है एक मिथिकल क्रीचर को जो सिम्बलाइज करता है एंटी क्रिश्चियनिटी को, मतलब द एंड ऑफ द क्रिश्चियन एरा. थैंक यू. आई होप आज की वीडियो आपको पसंद आई. अगर अच्छी एंड इन्फॉर्मेटिव लगी तो लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब टू माई चैनल. मिलते हैं कल एक और इन्फॉर्मेटिव वीडियो के साथ शाम 4 बजे.